Hello to everyone joining Gangnam Interior Design Week 2021. It's great meeting you, and many thanks to the Netherlands Embassy in Seoul for giving me this lovely opportunity. My name is Noah Chaim, and I'm the founder and creative director of Collective Paper Aesthetics. Collective Paper Aesthetics designs and develops audience engagement materials and STEAM education resources in a scale of pop-up architecture and furnishing for children and families in cultural settings. Among the studio clients are Mudam Luxembourg, National Gallery Singapore, Tate Modern, ICA Miami, Louvre Abu Dhabi, and many more. The studio's love affair with Korean design and the Korean cultural scene began when the studio received an honorable mention from the Seoul Design Olympiad in 2009. Thanks to the Netherlands Embassy, I was able to travel abroad and experience the festival at first hand. As it was the studio's first international recognition, it will always have a special place in my heart. 10 years later, in 2019, the studio's proposal was selected by Cheongju Craft Biennale as one of 5 ideas that were to be developed into a project, including a published book, that focused on the potential of Cheongju to grow as a craft city. The creative research fuses the main principles from Daemokyang, which are the traditional Korean wooden hands-on joints, with the octagonal geometry of Hanji wooden lattice to create a new three-dimensional experience named place crafting. In order to increase the STEAM educational value of the design, I first studied in a paper model the possible configurations of integrating 3 different symmetry axes in one octagonal prism kit made from 14 parts. The computer models then help create different three-dimensional structures in different scales and propose to increase learning skills and usability. The next part of the creative research is making one-to-one cardboard prototype using a CNC machine. Finally, the creative research was published in a book by the Cheongju Craft Biennale and was available for purchase during the Biennale in the official store. Within the framework of Chungju Craft Biennale 2019, I visited Korea once more, and this time had the opportunity to see and interact with many cultural and artistic institutes all over the country. As I was born in Israel and moved to the Netherlands in my late 20s, visiting the Ron Arad Pavilion in Chungju Art Center had a special meaning for me. As an architectural designer, I enjoyed discovering the variety of unique details while looking at the visually stunning effects of the new large-scale neighborhood developments all over the country. Being professionally trained and having practiced architecture in the Netherlands for about 20 years, I took a break one afternoon to dedicate a visit to Dego I-Park by the Dutch architectural firm UN Studio. If you are asking yourself what the connection between indoor STEAM education workshops and placemaking or urban planning are, after watching the video, I will help you understand by sharing some images with you from one of the studio's recent projects, Design and Heritage Empower Communities, in collaboration with Cultural Heritage Without Border in Albania. The pictures shows how the larger cardboard elements are animating resident participation in secondary public spaces in one neighborhood and primary underdeveloped public space in Tirana city center. The project proposal was written during the same time as proposal for the city Chungju Craft Biennale and was realized in September 2020. The initial stepping stone for developing the studio's artistic vision of merging craftsmanship and placemaking in urban happenings in the short term and urban planning in the long term was the 2011 Hong Kong and Shenzhen City Biennale of Urbanism and Architecture. The design was reproduced for Semana de la Arquitectura 2012 in Madrid as the Dutch Pavilion, and was later shortlisted for 2013 Frame Moy Design Award. 3 years later, I was invited to participate in a seminar about the future of craftsmanship in architecture together with 10 young Dutch architecture professionals. The seminar was curated by Schouw Architecture and Urbanism and financed by Stimulering Fonds Creative Industry within the framework of the 14th Venice Biennale of Architecture. The concept was further tested in 2017 as an initiative of the Netherlands Consulate General in New York at the Design Pavilion, which is the public interface of NYCX Design on Times Square, New York. With this opportunity, the project was able to engage a larger and more diversified audience in one of the world's most dynamic urban public spaces. In present days, I use the story behind the alchemist discovering phosphorus as a metaphor for my studio's growth and development since 2008, but I could not always view it that way. The painting by Joseph Wright of Derby, originally completed in 1771, describes the German alchemist Henning Brand's discovery of phosphorus while boiling urine in his basement laboratory. Initially, Brand was convinced that the fuel-smelling brew would somehow transmute into gold at the end of this process. Even though Brand did not find gold, he eventually discovered one of the most important chemical elements. So, a little bit how it all started. In 2008, I was invited by the London Festival of Architecture to present my graduation project from the Berlage Institute, which I had completed 4 years earlier. The curator of the venue, called Feeling High, was putting together a selection of commercial and experimental high-rises to generate a discussion about living in skyscrapers. Together with the Fab Lab in Den Haag, a set of interlocking paper polyhedral boxes were developed to interpret the octet truss structural principle patented by Buckminster Fuller in 1961, as well as the variations which could be made with it when using tessellation in future fabrication scenarios. Arriving in London with 2,000 flat paper boxes, I asked a few friends to come and give me a hand with the setup. Despite the help, we still could not finish the model by the time the exhibition was about to open. Consulting with the festival production team, we spontaneously decided to create an open call for the public to join and build the exhibition together. Unfortunately, not many people came to the venue during this weekend. Luckily, 2 of the visitors were curators specialized in learning and participation from the Hayward Gallery, who asked me to give them a call the week after. Even though the project idea with the Hayward was not realized at the time, I still came back home and decided to test the potential of repeating the activity at different festivals. Following the first commissions from the Dutch Design Week Arkham Amsterdam, which is the architecture museum, and Cologne Design Week, the initiative received further support from the Dutch government to continue developing the project and present it abroad. Today, 13 years later, the studio has worked with more than 50 museums, schools, and NGOs all over the world. The objectives of using the A4 paper toys as the cardboard hands-on construction systems are as the following: hands-on engineering, community engagement, artistic expression, promoting design for all, and mathematics. In 2020, my studio was selected for the EU Gateway Business Avenues, which is an EU-funded business mission to Korea for European companies focusing on contemporary European design. As part of this project, the mission coaching team advised me to focus on 2 designs which would have a potential in the Korean interior design market. The designs which were selected included the hard stool, which was designed for Madame Luxembourg in 2013, and the hardboard pyramid home edition. Together with photographer Eldwin van Krimpen, the studio's creative team and friends, we positioned the objects and the activities in the living room of two-bedroom apartment in Rotterdam. The brief for the design of the Heart Stool was given by the curator and head of cultural program, Anna Loporcaro. She requested foldable stools, which could be used by the elderly during guided tours and which could be put together into display tables twice a year for the museum's Marché des Créateurs, a temporary curated store selling goods from local designers. In this photo, you can see my workspace at the beginning of the design process in the summer of 2013. The next step is taking the paper models and the computer drawings to Alberto Marchente, the cardboard engineer from Labrofer Packingen in Eindhoven. Eindhoven is about 1 hour away from Rotterdam by train, during which I like to think about and contemplate the designs. When working with the engineer, we first prototype a single stool out of cardboard on the CNC machine, during which we consider the weight it needs to carry, the foldability, and the size of the heart perforation. In this photo you can see Alberto the engineer, the CNC table, and one of the first models. After prototyping the single stool, we looked for a way to connect the three stools into a display table using only cardboard. Not only do we have to solve the problem of connectivity, but we also face challenges with the height difference of the 45 cm high stools and the 70 cm high display tables. The production process involves making a die cutting tool. Die cutting is the general process of using a die to shear off webs of low-strength materials such as rubber, fiber, foil, cloth, paper, corrugated fiberboard, and more. The die cutting process is simple. In the video you can see that the mechanical tool is placed onto a designated place in the machine and pressed onto the cardboard sheets by metal plates. Following the die cutting process, leftover parts of the cardboard sheets around the shapes are removed by hand and thrown into the recycle bin. This process is named blanking, trimming, or stripping. For standard sizes boxes, automated machines are responsible for this process, but the size and shapes of the cardboard cutouts for the studio are very unique and require the extra manual work. The stripped cardboard cutouts are then put on a pallet and transferred to the client's required location where we complete the setup of the designs. In this photo you can see the Mudam Luxembourg team and myself building the stools and tables using only our hands. On the left side of the photo you can see the delivered pallets. During the event, the visual effect of building the stools and of the pop-up store were stunning. I can design, render, and Photoshop, but nothing compare or can be replaced with the real-life experience of seeing the designs in use. The initial concept was to use 3 colors to experience 3 different environments, even though we only used 1 color during the first stage. The following day, local designers displayed their creations on the heart stools and tables, creating a new interior aesthetic. When looking back at both the bare furnishings and when used as a display for the designers' creations, I think that the distinctive designs were not giving enough attention or space to the local designers' work. In the summer of 2014, the second part of the project was realized. This time we engaged a second color. In this photo, taken from the entrance of the Mudam Museum, you can see the concept of working with 2 different colors. The yellow ones are for the guests to sit on, and the red ones are the display tables. Later that year, the stools were also reproduced for the Kind- and Jugend Trend Space at the German Convention Center in Cologne. and 5 years later for Metahesalitus, which is the Finnish Forest Administration, presentation and conference room at the Helsinki Design Week 2019. Additionally, we designed a special gift box for the stool and illustrated the construction process of one chair in the context of a living room for EU Gateway Business Avenues Korea in 2020. The stool was accompanied by the Heartboard Pyramid retail package. The Heartboard Pyramid is made up of three-dimensional polyhedral building blocks. These blocks are connected to each other by cardboard joints, several of which are integrated into the lattice itself. The studio's retail package offer was a part of the studio's approach to innovation during the pandemic. At the beginning of the coronavirus, we asked ourselves how we could scale down and diffuse the studio's hands-on materials for audiences at home, while maintaining the STEAM educational input and artistic quality. Due to the pandemic, the in-person business mission shifted to an online environment. Even though this was of course safer and efficient on one hand, there was unfortunately a general lack of face-to-face interactions, which are a very important part of the studio's concept. Maintaining face-to-face interaction with the audience during the pandemic is an important matter for many of the institutes the studio works with. In order to overcome this challenge, Mudam's public service manager, Ms. Valérie Toul, and her team came up with a concept where the public was invited to get their own kids to go, play with at home, and bring them back to the museum once the restrictions were lifted, in order to assemble them to a greater structure all together. Currently, the studio is working with the Education Department of the Humboldt Forum in Berlin on an event to celebrate the opening of the Werkraume. Due to potential restrictions of the pandemic, we decide to pre-pack the materials into individual kits in the factory to have the flexibility of offering a built-in solution in order to scale down if necessary. In times before the pandemic, 1 or 2 people from the studio would normally travel to the events in person in order to set up and supervise projects. Nowadays, we send instructional videos that direct the setup and instruct the audience, no matter if they are at home or in small groups in the museum. This video was created for the Cade Museum for Creativity and Invention in Gainesville, Florida. This upcoming summer of 2021, Chunju Craft Biennale will present the activity designed in 2019 in the entrance lobby of the Culture Factory Chunju, together with new exciting furnishing system made from the octagonal prism. I warmly invite you and welcome you to come and experience collective paper aesthetics projects firsthand. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the invitation to participate in the Gangnam Interior Design Week 2021 and joining the seminar. Please don't hesitate to contact me in person if you want to have more information about the studio. Here you can find our phone number, email address, and KakaoTalk QR code.
안녕하세요. 리비에라 매종의 이유림 대표입니다. 저는 오늘 웨비나를 맡게 되었는데요. 여러분께 네덜란드 문화와 2021년 인테리어 트렌드에 대해서 간략하게 말씀드릴게요. 네덜란드 하면 정말 디자인 강국으로 많이 알려져 있죠. 네덜란드가 왜 디자인 강국이 됐을까 한번 생각해 본 적 있으세요? 네덜란드는 캐널이 많고 그 캐널을 중심으로 도시가 지어졌어요. 그 늪지대 위에 지어진 도시죠. 다 아시다시피 그 사람들은 그 튤립, 여기 앞에 보이시는 튤립으로 그렇게 부강한 나라가 됐잖아요. 부자 나라가 됐잖아요. 근데 그때 그 사람들이 튤립으로 막 부자가 될 때 너무 많은 재산을 모으니까 그 재산을 어디 숨기지 않나 국가에서 굉장히 사람들을 관찰했대요. 그래서 그 네덜란드를 혹시 가보시게 되면 그 네덜란드 그 암스테르담에 있는 주택들은 창문을 커튼을 닫질 않아요. 커튼을 치고 살아요. 그래서 커튼을 걷어놓고 사니까 집 안이 훤히 보이는 거예요. 그래서 왜 저렇게 다 보이게 사냐 이렇게 제가 물어봤더니 그 옛날부터 자기네 나라에서 그 튤립으로 막 부자가 될 시기에 이렇게 몰래 돈을 모은 걸 혼자 호의호식하고 몰래 잘 살고 있지 않나. 사람들이 보기 때문에 창문을 닫으면 의심을 받았대요. 그래서 창문을 닫고 껌껌하게 사는 사람들은 뭔가 비리가 있다. 재산을 몰래 축적하고 있다. 이렇게 의심을 받기 때문에 커튼을 열어놓고 나는 굉장히 청렴하고 결백해 하고 이렇게 보여주고 살았대요. 그래서 지금도 집안이 훤히 보이다 보니까 어떻게 해요? 정리정돈 잘하죠? 깨끗하게 유지하죠? 창가에 항상 꽃도 꽂아놓고 남이 우리 집안을 항상 들여다본다고 생각하는 거예요. 그러다 보니까 가구도 발전한 거예요. 디자인이. 우리가 봤을 때 예쁜 거, 멋진 거. 자꾸 그렇게 해서 디자인이 발전이 되는 나라가 된 것 같아요. 제가 여러 가지 이야기를 들어보니까 이럴 수밖에 없었구나. 디자인이 발전할 수밖에 없었던 이유들이 있었던 것 같아요. 그리고 항상 네덜란드에서는 초를 키는 문화가 있어요. 그래서 초를 9살이 되면 아빠가 아들들한테 성냥을 준대요. 성냥을 주고 너도 이제 우리 집안에 남자가 됐으니까 초를 켜거라 이렇게 가르친대요. 사실 한국 동양권 문화에서는 불장난한다고 어른들이 애비애비 하잖아요. 그럼 절대 안 된다고 가르치는데 네덜란드에서는 아이들한테 남자아이들이 조금 성장하면 너도 집에서 초를 켜라 이렇게 가르친대요. 그래서 집안이 굉장히 주택 구조가 깊고 어둡기 때문에 창가의 그 태양광으로는 절대 집안이 밝아질 수가 없어요. 그래서 초를 켜는 문화가 굉장히 발달이 됐고 아직도 그 퇴근해서 아빠들이 집에 들어오면 제일 먼저 하는 일이 초부터 킨다고 들었어요, 저는. 정말 로맨틱하다고 생각하지 않으신가요? 정말 멋진 문화 같아요. 그러면 어떻게 하면 초를 안전하게 킬 수 있을까요? 초에 대해서 화재가 나는 이유는 초를 그냥 접시 위에 올려놓기 때문이에요. 그럼 초가 다 타다가 넘어지면 화재가 날 위험이 있잖아요. 그래서 이들이 생각해낸 게 이런 랜턴 안에 초를 이렇게 넣고 켜는 거예요. 그러면 초가 안전하게 끝까지 타고요. 그리고 이 랜턴을 통해서 반사되는 빛 또한 너무 영롱하고 아름답겠죠. 그래서 그 빛에 대한 그런 그 빛의 화가 베르메르도 아시죠? 네덜란드의 유명 화가 베르메르. 그래서 이렇게 빛을 되게 중요시하고 네덜란드뿐만 아니라 북유럽 다른 나라도 이렇게 직접 라이팅을 별로 안 좋아하시더라고요. 간접 라이팅으로 공간을 만들어내는 거예요. 빛으로. 네덜란드에는 유명한 화가 베르메르가 있잖아요. 빛의 화가. 정말 빛으로 공간을 연출하는 법을 너무 잘 알고 있는 사람들 같아요. 많은 북유럽 브랜드 중에서 라이팅이 굉장히 발달된 회사들이 많이 있습니다. 그 이유는 해가 일찍 지고 어두운 지역에 살고 있기 때문에 하루 종일 해가 떠 있는 시간이 너무 짧아요. 그래서 한 오후 3시만 되면 어둑어둑해지거든요. 그러면 그때부터 초를 켜고 집안에 라이팅을 켜고 그렇게 해서 라이팅 문화가 굉장히 발달이 된 것 같습니다. 역시 저희도 서양의 문화를 잘 받아들여서 인테리어에 접목하는 것이 중요하다고 생각해요. 죽은 공간에 라이팅 하나만 켜도 그 공간이 나만의 공간으로 책을 읽는 리딩 에어리아가 된다든지, 책을 읽는 나만의 공간이 된다든지, 온 집안을 환하게 불을 밝히는 것보다 구석구석 분위기 무드 등을 사용해서 라이팅을 켜신다면 정말 분위기가 180도 달라지실 것 같습니다. 한번 여러분도 시도해 보세요. 많은 분들이 작년 한 해 너무 힘드셨죠. 코비드19로 인해서 정말 힘든 시간을 많이 겪으셨을 텐데요. 정말 코비드를 통해서 저희가 얻은 것도 있다는 생각이 들어요. 바깥에서 활동하시던 분들이 집안에 머무는 시간이 길어짐으로써 가족하고 보내는 시간도 굉장히 많아지고요. 내가 살고 있는 내 환경을 개선할 수 있는 그런 이목이 생기신 것 같아요. 그래서 인테리어에 대해서 굉장히 많은 분들이 관심을 많이 갖는 계기가 되신 것 같고요. 그로 인해서 정말 모두가 어떤 유행을 타는 트렌드라기보다 정말 내가 나를 표현할 수 있는 인테리어, 내 취향, 내 성격, 내 철학, 그런 것들이 모두 반영이 되는 인테리어가 이제 생겼다고 제가 감히 말할 수 있을 것 같아요. 유행을 따르는 인테리어는 이제는 그 시대는 지나간 것 같고요. 코로나19를 딱 계기로 해서 정말 내가 원하는 인테리어, 그러니까 각각 개인이 추구하는 인테리어를 발견하는 즐거움이 있는 세상으로 변한 것 같아요. 그래서 정말 이렇게 이런 디자인 위크라던가 이런 공간에 오셔서 다양한 디자인과 다양한 가구, 다양한 인테리어를 많이 접하시면서 내가 좋아하는 게 뭔지 찾아내는 게 굉장히 중요하다고 생각하거든요. 집은요, 제 생각에 집은 내가 머물 때 가장 내가 나다워질 수 있는 공간인 거예요. 집을 생각했을 때, 딱 들어섰을 때, 예를 들어서 친구 집에 방문을 딱 했을 때, 집만 딱 분위기만 느껴도, 이 사람은 뭐, 필름을 좋아하는구나. 이 사람은 영화를 좋아하는구나. 이 사람은 뭐 미술을 좋아하는구나. 이분은 장난감을 컬렉팅하는 걸 좋아하는구나. 그럼 막 그런 걸 보면서 성격이 다 드러나잖아요. 그리고 집도 이제 점점 이렇게 멋지게만 꾸미려고 하지 마시고 집을 나만의 뮤지엄으로 가꿔보세요. 내 이야기가 들어있는, 내 이야기가 스며있는 그런 작은 뮤지엄인 거예요. 어디 여행 갔을 때 모아온 조약돌, 어디 가서 찍었던 사진들, 그런 거 너무 이렇게 몸이 건조한 집보다 구석구석 이야기가 있는 집으로 가꿔보시는 것도 재미있을 것 같아요. 사실은 이 일을 시작하게 될 때 되게 특이한 경험을 했어요. 그래서 지금 네덜란드하고 한국하고의 이 끈끈한 인연을 60년 동안이나 이어온 것만큼 저도 굉장히 그 돈독한 인연을 이 브랜드하고 이어오고 있는데요. 제가 처음에 이 브랜드를 너무 사랑하게 돼서 정말 이 브랜드를 한국에 수입을 하고 싶다고 막 찾아가서 그 회장님을 괴롭혀 드렸어요. 그랬는데 너무 처음에는 아시아 시장에 관심이 없으시다가 추후에 그렇게 네가 우리 브랜드를 사랑하면 한번 같이 해봅시다 하고 이렇게 연결이 돼서 하게 됐어요. 그런데 사실은 굉장히 큰 기업에서, 대기업에서, 모기업에서 저희 이 리비에라 매종을 이렇게 사업을 시작해 보시고 싶다고 직접 연락이 오셨다는 거예요. 근데 저희 한국에서 론칭을 할 때, 론칭 파티 할 때 오셔가지고 회장님이 저한테 명함을 주셨어요. 근데 저는 그때 오프닝 하는 날이었어요. 그런데 저한테 그 모 기업의 회장님 명함을 주면서 이 사람이 이 브랜드를 갖고 싶다고 했다. 그래서 저는 이분이야말로 하셔야 되는 분 아닐까요? 이렇게 생각을 했는데 No, 이렇게 말씀하시더라고요. 아니야, 딱 이렇게 말씀하셔서 왜요? 그랬더니 나는 돈이 많은 부자보다 내 브랜드를 사랑하는 사람하고 일을 같이 하고 싶어요. 이렇게 말씀하시더라고요. 근데 정말 눈물이 핑 돌았어요. 근데 저는 개인 사업가이고 정말 그냥 그저 이 브랜드를 사랑한 것 뿐인데 저하고 의리를 딱 지켜주시는 걸 보고 그게 첫날이었거든요. 그래서 제가 이 브랜드하고 같이 오래오래 갈 수 있겠다. 그런 다짐을 하게 된 계기가 됐어요. 그래서 10년 동안 같이 쭉 일을 하면서 느낀 건 제가 이 브랜드를 사랑하는 만큼 또 그 기업도 저를 사랑해 주더라고요. 서로 상생하면서 같이 일을 하면서 정말 이 더치 사람들에 대한 제 이미지가 정말 뭐 형제 나라 같고 정말 너무 끈끈하다고 느껴요. 그리고 그 네덜란드는 여러분들 다 아시다시피 그 땅을 뻘을 개척해서 그 나라가 이루어진 거잖아요. 정말 못 쓰는 땅을 정말 일궈서 그 도시, 암스테르담 도시에 여러분들 아시나요? 그 도시 밑에 수많은 말뚝이 박혀 있는 걸? 정말 그 탄탄한 그 울렁불렁한 늪지대를 탄탄하게 만들기 위해서 그 큰 도시 바닥에 어마어마하게 긴 나무 파이프가 다 세로로 박혀 있대요. 너무너무 많이. 근데 그거를 그렇게 도시를 만들고 나라를 만들 때는 엄청나게 부지런한 사람이 있었던 것 같아요. 근데 여러분 어떠세요? 대한민국 사람들이 얼마나 부지런합니까? 근데 굉장히 비슷한 점이 많다고 느껴지더라고요. 그래서 저희가 같이 네덜란드 분들하고 일을 하면서 굉장히 기쁜 일도 많았고 배워야 할 점도 굉장히 많더라고요. 네덜란드에는 일하다가 죽는 사람 못 봤다라는 속담도 있답니다. 그래서 제가 그 얘기를 듣고 한국 사람보다 더 부지런한 사람들이 있구나 이렇게 깨달았어요. 그래서 저는 네덜란드하고 같이 일을 하면서 여러 가지 철학도 배우고 문화도 배우고 아주 즐거운 마음으로 리빙 사업을 하고 있답니다. 네덜란드의 많은 기업들이 그렇듯이 리비에라 메종도 역시 자연주의 철학을 가지고 있어요. 사실은 테이블은 거의 고제 테이블로 못 쓰는 나무를 다시 재활용해서 쓰는 테이블이에요. 그래서 가격이 막 생각보다 너무 그렇게 고가의 테이블은 아니고 합리적인 가격이에요. 그러고 예를 들어서 알루미늄으로 된 제품이라든지 라이팅에 쓰이는 알루미늄 소재는 전부 항공기에서 재활용된 알루미늄을 통해서 라이팅도 만들고요. 약간 이렇게 현명한 소비를 하는 것 같아요. 우리가 쓸 수 있게 만든다라는 철학이 깃들어져 있는 그런 브랜드고 많은 그 유러피안 국가에서 지금 현재 21세기에 시도하듯이 리비에라 메종도 어떻게 하면 환경을 해치지 않고 브랜드를 이어갈 수 있을지 그런 깊은 생각을 하는 아주 존경스러운 브랜드인 것 같습니다. 사실 북유럽은 날씨가 굉장히 춥잖아요. 그래서 우리가 생각하듯이 북유럽, 유러피안 사람들은 가죽의자를 매일 쓰고 이렇지가 않더라고요. 제가 가끔 출장을 다녀보니까 그 초대받아서 집에도 가보고 하니까 전부 패브릭 소파를 쓰는 거예요. 그래서 그 이유가 뭔가 하니까 날씨가 춥고 그러다 보니까 차가운 소파가 싫다 이렇게 말씀하시더라고요. 그래서 사실은 북유럽에서는 패브릭 소파가 굉장히 유행을 하고 이제 날씨도 춥고 겨울이 길고 그러다 보니까 집안의 분위기를 굉장히 따뜻하게 안락하고 아늑하게 꾸미는 걸 추구하더라고요. 그래서 사실은 리비에라 메종이라는 뜻은 그 프랑스 남부 해안가, 그 다음에 이태리 북부 해안가 그 지역 이름이거든요. 리비에라가. 모든 북유럽 분들이 로망이 있어요. 어떤 로망이 있냐면 은퇴를 하고 나면 리비에라 해안가에서 내가 말년을 맞이하고 싶다. 이런 꿈이 있는 거예요. 그래서 이 브랜드의 특징은 은퇴할 때까지 왜 기다려? 너의 집을 휴양지같이 꾸며. 이렇게 알려주는 브랜드거든요. 그래서 리비에라 메종. 사실은 휴양지 같은 집이지만 사실은 정말 꿈의 집이죠. 꿈의 집. 정말 내가 편안하게 쉬러 온 것 같은 집. 이제 그런 집을 꾸미는 거를 지향하는 브랜드고, 이제 저희 모토는 이제 집은 가장 너가 너다워질 수 있는 공간이다. 라는 걸 모토로 그렇게 이제 만들어지는 브랜드입니다. 그래서 전체적인 브랜드 특징은 편안하고 안락하고 쉴 수 있고 그 다음에 내가 마치 휴양지에 온 것 같은 그런 집을 꾸밀 수 있도록 컨셉을 제안하는 브랜드예요. 그래서 그거를 꼭 강조하고 싶습니다. 북유럽의 그 추운 냉기와 그 추운 지방에 사는 사람들은 제가 6월달에 출장을 갔는데도 추워서 파카를 입을 정도였어요. 정말 바람이 너무 많이 불고 너무너무 추워요. 그런데 이제 이 사람들은 집안이 그래서 따뜻하고 포근하고 이런 걸 굉장히 추구하더라고요. 그래서 약간 저희처럼, 저희는 막 여름에 덥고 막 이러니까 젠 스타일도 한동안 유행을 했었잖아요. 트렌드가. 그래서 젠 스타일, 뭔가 좀 없고 깨끗하고 뭐 약간 대리석에 차갑고 이런 거. 왜 남쪽 지방 가면 대리석이 유행하듯이 뭐 동남아시아 쪽 가면 바닥도 다 대리석, 차가운 대리석인 것처럼. 그런데 이 북쪽 지방을 가면 모든 게 우디해요. 나무가 따뜻하잖아요. 소재를 나무로 쓰는 걸 좋아하고, 원목을 좋아하고, 패브릭을 좋아하고, 뭐 약간 차가운 느낌을 좀 지향하는 것 같아요. 제가 보기엔, 제가 느낀 감정은 코비드19로 인해서 여행을 못 가는 세상이 와버렸잖아요. 정말 이거는 그 누구도 상상하지 못했던 세상이 와버린 거예요. 그래서 정말 우리는 디지털 세계에 대한 거부감이 있었을지언정 이제는 정말 구매 패턴도 완전히 이커머스로 가는 느낌? 이제 자연스럽게 강제로 반강제로 우리가 이커머스로 간 느낌이에요. 제 생각은. 그전 같으면 인터넷으로 어떤 뭐 가구를 산다든지 뭐 이런 행위는 별로 없었거든요. 그리고 실제로 만져보고 굉장히 느껴보고 싶어요. 근데 이번에 코비드19 때문에 완벽하게 돌아설 수 있는 큰 계기가 됐던 것 같아요. 그러고 실제로 여행을 못 가기 때문에 내 집안을 휴양지같이 꾸미려는 그런 패턴이 굉장히 강세를 이루고 있어요. 실제로 집안의 작은 죽은 공간에 해먹을 놓는다든지 라탄 의자를 놓는다든지 뭔가 소품 하나라도 뭔가 휴양지 같은 느낌, 뭐 소재를 사용해서라도 휴양지 같은 느낌, 뭐 소파도 막 이렇게 눕는 스타일의 소파를 선택한다던가, 그 다음에 침실도 약간 호텔 느낌이 나는 깔끔하지만 분위기 있는 조명 이런 거에 더 치중을 하는 그런 느낌으로 디자인이나 인테리어 전반적으로 분위기가 코비드를 전후로 완전히 바뀌어가고 있는 걸 느낍니다. 실제로 상업 공간을 가보셔도 뭐 유명하다는 카페, 유명하다는 레스토랑, 유명한 어떤 공간을 가보면 정말 자연을 접목하려는 시도가 굉장히 많이 돋보여요. 많은 야자나무라든가 패브릭이라든가 모든 걸 이용해서 굉장히 내추럴한 느낌을 살리려고 하는 트렌드가 코비드 이후에는 굉장히 강세를 보이는 것 같습니다. 여러분들도 한번 가정에서 시도해 보세요. 지금 코비드로 인해서 환경이 그렇게 변하니까 사람들이 이제 추구하는 인테리어가 내가 좀 더 편하고 안락하게 쉴 수 있는 공간, 그런 걸 연출을 하고 싶어 하다 보니까 어떻게 보면 휴양지풍 뭐 이런 느낌이 굉장히 트렌드가 돼버린 것 같아요. 근데 마침 저희 리비에라 매종은 브랜드 자체가 이제 그 휴양지 느낌을 살리는 브랜드다 보니까 우연치 않게 접목이 돼서 이렇게 많은 분들한테 호응을 얻고 있어요. 근데 실제로 모든 제품이 핸드메이드다 보니까 핸드메이드에서 오는 따뜻함이 있어요. 근데 완벽하지 않음 속에서 완벽함을 찾는 perfectly imperfect 이렇게 또 표현을 하거든요. 그러니까 너무 완벽한 거에 대해서 매력을 못 느끼는 거죠. 더 이상 사람들이 공장에서 쾅쾅 찍어 나온 거에 대해서 크게 매력을 못 느끼는 거예요. 그렇지만 이거 핸드메이드에서 오는 따뜻함이 있어요. 질리지 않고 따뜻함. 근데 그런 거를 자꾸 사람들이 추구하게 되는 것 같아요. 소비자들 입장에선 이걸 옆에 두니까 내가 늘 마음이 좋더라, 편안하더라 이렇게 느끼는 그런 제품들이 앞으로는 계속 쏟아져 나올 것 같아요. 이제까지는 대량 생산해서 막 이렇게 나온 물건들이 쉽게 가져갈 수 있는데, 저는 그런 물건들이 제 그냥 개인적인 소견이지만 어떻게 보면 좀 예쁜 쓰레기? 지금은 내 눈에 너무 예쁘고 당장은 막 확 가져가고 싶은데 하루 이틀 사흘날 보다 보면 저건 너무 지겹고 내 집에 안 어울린다. 그럼 그게 이제 그냥 플라스틱 쓰레기가 되는 거잖아요. 근데 그렇지 않은 그런 여러 가지 제품들 앞으로는 계속 우리가 소지하고 그걸 또 대물림할 수 있는 그런 제품들이 계속 나올 것 같아요. 앞으로 그게 트렌드가 되지 않을까요?
Well, hello, I'm Wanda van Riet. I am a designer by profession, and I'm also a mother of my 2 children. We live in the south of the Netherlands, and I studied at the Art Academy in 's-Hertogenbosch with graphic design as specialization. Several times I was allowed to present my work during the Salon in Milan, the Dutch Design Week in Eindhoven, Glue Amsterdam, and in various hotels in the Netherlands. I really enjoy working with other peoples and companies. Museums like the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam or the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, design shops and design web shop, but also manufacturing companies, such like wallpaper factories and ceramic factories. I also design large installations of my designs, which are often used in hotels and in large entrances of public spaces. My greatest inspiration is art. To incorporate art into my designs. That's my great passion. Why? I think art is for everyone, and everyone should be able to enjoy it. I like art and it inspires you. If you like art and it inspires you, it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. For example, when you like a painting, you want to have it around you. You wanted to be able to wear it or have it in a nice place in your house. Like your favorite musician, when you wear t-shirts of him and buy the music and proudly let everyone hear it. By being inspired by art, you discover the most beautiful stories. I believe that our past, our cultural heritage, gives meaning and experience to our lives. That the past connects, inspires, and makes people curious all over the world. The past forms the basis for special new encounters and breathes new life into all relationships. I believe the past makes the present and the future more beautiful with art. The fascinating stories from the past become tangible in a designed product. In addition, all products I design are made in small editions, preferably in my own country. By keeping the production in the Netherlands, I am optimally involved to the manufacturing process. For the materials of the designs, I look for the best quality and the most sustainable solutions. Almost all products are handmade with a social design philosophy. The entire cane of the manufacturing process myself, often packing the products myself in my own design packaging. Doing this all by myself, I know what I'm selling. I think that Dutch design is characteristic of experimental, innovative, and unconventional, with a little bit of sense of humor. There are big differences between the Dutch Design Week, Eindhoven, and the Design Week in Milan. I think that designers from the Netherlands also dare to show her prototypes of their designs, even thought it isn't ready yet or fully developed. Dutch designers are also there to look for collaboration with other designers and sharing their designs. Minimalistic and always looking for new unexpected materials. That's what Dutch designers design. Dutch designers are something a little bit wrath in the finish of the design. I'm proud to be a Dutch designer because a lot of famous people where I come from, like Vincent van Gogh or Rembrandt. Rembrandt tried to work with lights and shadows techniques. Where do I get my inspirations? I get my inspirations from museum, books, newspapers, traveling, and listen to stories. I speak and discuss with other peoples and friends, research into sustainable materials. These connect in a new design. A lot of materials are used in my artwork. For example, for everything I design, I look to the most sustainable materials. I am inspired by the past, but work towards for a better world in the future. By using materials for my design, there are not a burden of pollution for the next generation. I don't think that art and design come together. They are different because art is unique and therefore it has an addition of one. Design must always be reproducible. In my designs, I try to incorporate art with my own vision and creativity, of course. So then you can tell a story of the past in everyday objects. I don't think art and design go ever together, but there's no reason to be inspired by these two disciplines. Many artists paint everyday objects or are inspired by proofs. The Dutch designer work a little bit of rush. It is not finished. When you are in Milan, you see the designers from Italy. They have a beautiful finish. It's beautiful developed. The Dutch people have materials. Well, it's innovative. It is creative, but not even finished. It's innovative, always looking for some new. I think in the Dutch designers are more when you look at the process of the design, the most of the time of a Dutch designer goes to the concept. So and then it goes to an agent or a fabric and make it usefully so that it can produced. But designer is most of the time busy with the concept time. That's why Dutch designers are innovative and working at creativity. When you make something, it is very important that it not damage the earth or children have a big garbage a mountain. No, that's what I read now in my letter, that it is very important when you are a designer that you must look to the future. We can't live now so on. That's the reason. To make put your creativity in a sustainable product. It makes me happy. Most of the designers work with social design. So, example, I also made shawls. The confection of the shawls go to old women. I give them my shawls to the old women, widows. They confection the shawls, and they were happy because they were old, but they can do their work still good. And then they go to the museum and look at the product in the shop. So they are not alone anymore because they can tell something, what they share. They made the confection of the shawls, and then they visit each other, eat with each other, go to the museum with each other. So it's very important to look and share your designs with others. One of the materials of my folder Webel is a sustainable material, a plastic. That plastic in the early times were using for printers. In the early times, printers work with film. When I have made a design, first it came on a film and then it go to the printer. Today everything's go digital, so the material wasn't not used anymore. But the manufacturer has recycled his own material. So the PVC and other bad ingredients, he skipped it and he has developed and recycled the material. So now we have still plastic, but when it burns, like all the garbage here in the Netherlands, you don't have bad things in the atmosphere. I think that is good. That material is a plastic. You must not throw it away in the nature, but when you throw it in your garbage, then it's okay when it burns. And the material is also water resistant. When I developed my vase, I was looking for a material who was resistant for water. So I fold the material, I fold the vase, and I call the manufacturer and I ask him, can you give me the specs of the material for the folding specs? He said, but you can't fold the material. Oh yeah, I fold the vase here. So this was very funny. And yes, it is. You can fold it. And you can print it with beautiful motifs. Yeah. One of the most inspired paintings are artists who paint flowers. I like flowers. I became happy with flowers, and I developed vases. So I'm always looking for painters who paint flowers. Rembrandt hasn't painted flowers, but he has painted beautiful light techniques. Sometimes it's beautiful to take inspired little details of his work. But there are a lot of Dutch painters who weren't famous, but they make such beautiful paintings with flowers or birds. I like to introduce them in Korea. There are more painters, but not famous. I know in Korea you have beautiful prints, like on very thin paper. I found some, but it's very beautiful to take flowers or things what interest you in your people, your country. It is, yes, I'm very curious to it. A lamp, a light designer. The most light designers, they look for a design who has very functionality. And their concept is more in the materials and the form, not so about the decoration. innovative thing is the most important with the materials, and not always the decorative on it. They were looking to crazy materials, and now in this time, especially because we all are looking for sustainable materials, some crazy things. I have seen a lamp made of paper. The paper were eggs in it from the big paper box, and that material they have made a lamp of. It's not always, it aren't always good ideas, but it is the beginning of a new time, new things. I was a graphic designer with a specialization, and I like to work for the museum. That was my dream, work for museum. But I wasn't looking for materials or foldable things. No, maybe it was another time. We all want to work for culture. Making my products are always linked with graphic design. Well, for example, when you buy my vase, and it is flat, so you must fold it, and then you have a 3D, and then it is an object. But when you buy it, it's flat. It isn't an object yet. And that's with a lot of things I design. With this is always flat. So graphic design is also two-dimensional. So when I made a brand for a company, or a wall with a wall for a museum, for an exposition, then it's flat. So the link with my study is great. Sharing for new sustainable materials, it's very important to me. When people can also enjoy this beautiful world in the future, we must changing now. Designs made from non-sustainable materials have to make way for new sustainable materials, new ideas. I like to tell something to the Korean audience. I would like to present my products in Korea so that they can enjoy my design, what is inspired by art from the Netherlands. I want to surprise them with crazy but sustainable designs in exchange for a smile and a little bit of happiness. I would also love to design motifs which are inspired by Korean prints. And finally, I hope to collaborate with other companies or designers.
My name is Tim Waardi, and I'm the founder of Dutch Design Brand in the Netherlands. And I founded my company in 1999, so that's a long time ago. And that was during my studies at the Conservatory of The Hague. I studied classical piano, actually, and that is my passion. That was my passion. And besides of that, when I lived in The Hague, there was the North Sea Jazz Festival, and that's the biggest jazz festival in Europe. And I was there a frequent visitor because I really love jazz also. And I saw there all kinds of halls without chairs. And the idea came up to make a chair which is brandable, so which you can print on, and which could be sold at the festival, North Sea Jazz Festival, and which could be paid by a sponsor. And so my nature was at that time already that I was doing business with all kinds of things, and so I tried to invent that. So I went to a design company and I said, okay, I would like to have a chair made of cardboard, and it has to look a bit like this and that, and it should be very strong, and so from paper, and it should be printable on all sides. So we did that, and actually I contacted the North Sea Jazz Festival, and I hired 2 stands in '99 at the North Sea Jazz Festival, and we made a 6,000 chairs with the principal sponsor, a television company, full color on the chairs, and with 5 of my best friends from my hometown Enschede, we sold 3 days and nights the festival chair, and it was called festival chair. And the thing was, I didn't know anything about cardboard, and I didn't realize that the production they did was of a other quality than the hand made sample I got. And after 2-3 hours, some leg broke, and I was really stressed. I had a big problem. But then the people of the visitors, they were inventive, and they broke the other 3 legs also, and they could sit again for 2-3 hours. So we had a lot of fun, and that was actually the start of my business. And now you think probably, what does it have to do with Dutch Design Brand? The festival chair is going all over the world. Now with Corona not, there are no events, it's a real big problem. But we have a lot of events normally in the UK, in United States, in Germany, but mainly in the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. And so we have great clients like IBM, ING, Nike. We did an event last year, 2 years ago, for 1,200 festival chairs for Nike, and Adidas, and whatever, Sony. In Czech Republic, we did an event for Sony. And so in 2011, 12 years later, I said to my wife, Suzanne, please come and work with me. She worked at a publishing house and did there all the marketing strategic. I said to her, come and work with me, so we can together launch the design brand, Dutch Design Brand, because we would like to make the chair. So we would like to make the chair more than an advertisement tool, but a design product which you can buy with nice designs at stores. So that was the idea. And we made a very nice packaging also. It's packed like this. And through the letters, you see the design in it. We won a Red Dot Design Award in 2013 for this. And the thing was that it became a great success. And we got 120 stores only already in the Netherlands who sold the Dutch design chairs. And actually it was at that time Dutch design chair and not Dutch design brand. So the chair was the only thing we did for events and for designer stores. A lot of museum shops sell them and sold them. And so we got a first collection of nice prints. We thought ourselves what we would like to have on it. And we work a lot with freelancers, so designers outside the office, freelance designers we work a lot with. And so it became a great success. And we, a few years ago, we sent a lot of pallets and even containers. We sent a few containers to Japan, to Australia, actually, to the United States. Maybe 7 containers, I think, we sent to the United States, and we won the Red Dot Design Award in 2013, and we had a lot of publicity also in the New York Times and very high-end newspapers and magazines. So that's a bit the first episode of how my business started. And for us, from the beginning, it was very important and is important, the sustainability. So we produce in the Netherlands the products we make, because it's now more than only the chairs. They are all of cardboard and recycled cardboard for the most. And what is not recycled, it is FSC, and it's of course 100% recyclable. And the most important thing for me that it is sustainable is the fact that people use it and really like the products. And also the chairs, you can use it for maybe a few years at home if you have it as a side table or night table or whatever. And so we think always further for sustainability and practical use, because Dutch design brand is very practical in use and nice, but it's always practical, I think. Nice, usable design, yes. We have, there's a big tradition in the Netherlands for Christmas packaging. There are sold in the Netherlands, we have 17 million people living in the Netherlands. There are sold 5.1 million Christmas packages every year. It's some kind of right they feel here in the Netherlands when you are working for a boss. At Christmas, you get a present. And so this is a huge business. And all there is a lot of waste in this business. A lot of things come from China, and it's really a problem because they only think of price. It may not cost anything, so there's a lot of waste. And so what I thought of is to make a box with a lid, and you put your you put your presents in it, and when people get it, receive it, they take it out, and they, instead of throwing away the box, they can build the Dutch design chair, which is known here in the Netherlands, at least, and they can build it from it in 10 seconds. They build the chair and they don't have to throw away the package. And it was really difficult to introduce it, because what I already told, it's all matter of price, and that is sustainable. Really, they don't care. When it costs 2 cents more, they say, oh, it's too expensive for a box. It's the real problem. But then we got a lot of publicity, and people and companies asked in the market, like, oh, we would like to have packed it in the Dutch design chair instead of a standard box. So it took 2 years, and 2 years later, it really went very well. And we had a lot, we had, I think, 3 or 4 years where we sold a lot of chairs for the Dutch design chair Christmas, as we call it. And so the festival chair business, the events, it was always still going on till Corona, actually. Now with Corona, our main focus is again Dutch design brand, only Dutch design brand. And the good thing is that a year before Corona, I really wanted to do something new. We invented a few things. So we have wisdom tiles. They are very nice. We have whiteboards. We had some kind of storage boxes. But I invented a new storage box. You see it here. It's from one part. It's completely, there is no glue involved, and also the lid, it's just one part of cardboard. And so we introduced that right away last year in May. And it is fortunately a great success, and it is really like it was with the chairs in the beginning when it started, and it went very popular. Now we see it also, fortunately, with the storage boxes. It's a really good product, very usable, and the price is also felt very well here, because if you look for storage boxes on the internet, you find a lot of storage boxes, and they are all ugly and expensive. So and so this is these are nice designs, and you don't have to put it away. You put it in your living room, and so it's going very well. And the thing is, I also thought of it to make this, to have a new packaging for the Christmas business. And we did that last December. We had a really good year for the first year of this new product. And it's very well received. So that's very nice. I can show you in the stores, it's also packed like that, like the chairs. And well, it's again the same philosophy, what I told before. So practical design, you can use it. It's all Dutch production and FSC and recyclable. So we really look in the market. We look at trends in the magazines, etc., etc. And we often try to do that what we like ourselves, but and sometimes it's really I love a design and it's really not working at all, and sometimes I think, well, it's not for me, and it sells fantastic. So it's really not and it's not sometimes I have an idea for print, what we started with, and it was really the main idea was trompe-l'œil. Do you know what it is, trompe-l'œil? Okay, so it means that it's not what you think of how it looks like. That's really what was a main character of our prints, like the wood, like concrete. We have a concrete chair, and it really looks like a massive concrete thing, and but it is not. It's cardboard. We have all kinds of trompe-l'œil designs, and that's how it started actually. And also all the wood prints, it was really I must say, how do you say, the beech wood print, for example. The first person who started with beech wood, really wood, how do you say, recyclable wood tables and whatever, it was Piet Hein Eek. And we actually, I think we were the first ones in 2011 who did the trompe-l'œil thing. So we made nice photos of the material and made a design which is not wood, but it looks like wood. And the funny thing is that years later, a lot of competitors and colleagues, they do the same. And for example, you also have what is it called, on your walls, printed. I even think it's from Piet Hein Eek. He made some the wall. Anyway, so that's what we did, and we are looking around what is popular at the time, and we don't go that far, that we just do what is popular, because we really have to have a feeling ourselves with the design anyway, otherwise we won't do it. And the thing is also that really typical thing of Dutch design brand is we try to make nice design and sustainable design available for everybody. So you don't have to pay €1,000 or more for products. We really have products from a range from €10 till €30, and that's it. Everybody should be able to can afford our design products. So that's a main thing of our Dutch design brand. I mean, of course, the problem of today is that the world is really going down, and we really have a problem. And the people think in 100 years, is there still a way that people can live on this planet? And I think that's reason enough to make designs and do the right things to save the world. And I really don't think, I mean, without Dutch design brand, the world will be safe or not. I mean, I don't think I save the world, but everybody should think sustainable, I think. And it's really, I get very cynical about the fact that this last year of Corona, COVID-19, it's the main topic on television everywhere. Nobody is nobody is talking about something other than the COVID, like it's the biggest problem in the world. And I really think it is not. It's a problem, sure. So and the other problem, which is much the biggest problem, I think, all the pollution and that the earth gets warmer and warmer, and we get all unbelievable problems, is really not mentioned. The big problem is COVID. It's really I think it's really very cynical. And then when we solve the COVID, they don't think like we hoped it a few months ago, like, okay, maybe the people, they learn something and will do it different and better and to save the planet. But it at least here, what I hear, they only think of trying to make it up to the loss of industry, and they just think of again more and more and more industry, and it's really I think it's really a problem for our children's. They have to live with it, and I see it with my own children. They are really very conscious and think of how to solve it, but it's not common in the world. I think it's a problem. Yeah, it's a real problem. We are for with green energy, I think on one of the latest countries, which it's terrible. It's I mean, no, and that's the thing. The Dutch people, they are really known for maybe creative. They are, but sustainable. First in the league with all kinds of things, and you also see it now with the how they treat COVID, Corona. We are not the best in this country, and I think and tolerance. They also say of the Netherlands, oh, they are so tolerant. I think it's a long time ago they were tolerant. I mean, it's a really big problem, and they are absolutely not tolerant. And look at the numbers of refugees they give a chance to live here. There are not, almost not. So it's really I don't know how long it takes that image they have. They are so tolerant and so this and so that. I'm not so positive. No. So my mission is to and invent, of course, some nice products, and thinking out of the box. And for entrepreneur in cardboard, thinking out of the box, it works. So that's you have to be creative. That's I think, and I like what I do, and try to do the best. Strong point is that it's functional design. That's really what I think, and it gives you a smile if it's well designed, and it's really also thinking out of the box. So it's not very baroque design, but it's really usable, functional design. That's I think the main Dutch design, and I really love that. Yeah. What I also wanted to tell you, I told you about the North Sea Jazz Festival in '99 and in 2000 actually, where we sold the 6,000 of these chairs and used a lot. And I told you some leg broke, right? Because it was not strong enough. So we improved the design, and now we tested the Dutch design chair, and with a flat weight, it collapsed at 820 kilos. So 820 kilos, it's more than 1,600 pounds, it collapses. So you can almost have an elephant on it, but we say maximum 200 kilos because we don't want them to do really strange things with it. But that's the thing I just wanted to tell you, that it's now, and we patented it at that moment in at least Europe and United States. So that's the story of the chair and the other stuff. You invent something, the first draw is not always the best and the end product, of course. So you have to experience and test it and improve, and everybody does that, of course. So there's some version 2, version 3, version 4. Yeah. Well, I hope that they like our products, and they like the concept of Dutch design and Dutch design brand. and wishing them lots of fun with our products if they buy it.